And we're in. Come on in. There's Merles, ready to roll. Game Notes Daily, we're back. I mean, every time we did a show, Merles, leading up to this point here, we were like, I was thinking this was going to be it. Next time we're going to be together. What in the hell is going on? Everybody, gets go. Let's get in the chat. There we go. Sigsy, first guy in. Merles, what are you thinking here?
Hey, quick shout out to Singsy. It's Memorial Day.
Thanks for stealing my line, G. Coming in from the cheap seats. Happy
G.
Memorial Day to everybody out there. Army, you're an American now. I see you're taking in the holiday, and I'm not taking in the holiday over here. There was no celebration. Yesterday was Mother's Day, so I've been in the blender or in the mixer in a different kind of way all day yesterday. But happy Memorial Day, and before I get to that, let me tell you about TheScore Bet. This episode is brought to you by TheScore Bet. It's the best sports book for the hockey obsessed. We have daily specials from the Chicklets crew with better odds. I already put it out on Twitter. We're going to take one from the chat today. We're going to take a good parlay from the chat. We're going to boost it up. Army, you'll be in charge of picking which one. But remember, always play responsibly. 19 plus, Ontario only. Gambling problem, call Connects Ontario at 1-866-531-2600. Let's talk some puck.
There it is. There it is. Memorial Day. I'm actually up at a friend of mine's lake house right now, just outside of Pittsburgh. So we're up here. Kids are going crazy. We went swimming. He bought jet skis the other day, and we're just like pontoon boat, sit out in the sun, chill. It is awesome. So, and then today, Memorial Day. Thank you to all the men and women who sacrificed for us, obviously, to be able to do that this weekend, and me to be on a boat, and a pontoon boat floating around, yakking it up. So very much appreciated. That's right. It's my first American citizen Memorial Day weekend, Merles. It's a pretty amazing feeling.
Yeah, it's a fun holiday. I always enjoyed it. We used to always go camping when I was a tad younger. My first few years pro, I would always go on a camping trip, which was just camping trips are a bender because you wake up at 7, 8. You can't sleep anyway. So what do? Just start drinking.
Yeah.
And I had a real veteran move.
Even when you were young, you were just a kid. You were going.
I'll teach everybody on here a veteran move. You go camping, especially you go by yourself or just with a girl or something. No kids. I had the big Denali truck. Me and you had the same trucks. And what I would do is I would open up the hatch and I would slide in a futon mattress.
Yes.
And then just shove all my stuff in there for the weekend. I would drive up there, unpack, and then I had the best bed. So end of the night comes, just slow the hatch down, you sleep. You could open the sunroof a little bit to get some air. And then on that Monday afternoon when everybody else is pulling the tent apart, you just slam the hatch on and you just drive home. It was great.
Yeah, that's a sick. I did that one time with one of those blow-up mattresses right in the back of that Denali. I did the exact same move, just vented the air in there so you just breathe nice, fresh camping air. But I see everybody. I've seen Singsy was talking about that Murph workout. You got to do the Murph workout.
Yeah, what is that all about? I saw that. What is it?
Like, dude, it's crazy. It's like 200 pull-ups, 200 squats. Like you run like, I don't know how many times you run. You do like 200 burpees. It's crazy. It's super hard.
You run a mile. I believe you run a mile, and then you run at the end. You run a mile with a 20-pound weighted vest.
Yeah, because he would wear that 20-pound. He had his tactical gear on when he did it. I guess these workouts, and he would wear that the whole time. So this workout is called the Murph. I saw him talking about it, but like I don't think I can make it through there right now.
I would have tried it, but I'm still nursing the bad hip over here. I got a bad hip. It's killing me.
Oh, shit.
It is Singsy. 300 squats, 100 pull-ups, 200 push-ups, and a mile before and after with a 20-pound vest. Yikes.
Yeah.
My shoulders would fall out on the pull-ups, number one.
Oh, my shin splints would be killing me with the vest on. Like, I'd be dying. I can't do, like, literally, I think I can do, like, 20 push-ups clean right now. I don't think I'd have to take a break.
Oh, I tried doing 15 the other day, and I made it to 14, maybe.
Yeah, maybe I'm there. Maybe I'm more there, bro.
It's brutal.
I'm more that guy than I am a 20 push-up guy. So, nonetheless, enjoy your Memorial Day. Beautiful, sunny here where I'm at. Kids are out walking.
I've been getting these pictures all day, probably from people like you up on the lake on their boats. I got the EBR koozie out in the lake. There it is.
Yeah.
Labatt Blue Light Lime. what a beer that is in the summer. Oh,
Yeah.
unbelievable. The EBR koozie, keeping it warm, keeping it ice cold. I'm jealous, but I'll be in Vegas soon enough in Florida, so I'm not complaining here. Well, I think we're going to be in Vegas.
Well, we're hoping. And where are we going to go with this? We're going to
Yeah.
recap the last game. We got guests. What do we got here? I
Yeah,
know.
I mean, it's just quick recap. I mean, it's Dallas is good. Like it's not a huge surprise that they've won a couple games. Ottinger is a great goalie, and I see his stats here. He's 3-0 in elimination games with a 1.64 goals against this playoffs. So Vegas is in one.
That's the one that kills me because I was watching the game here up at the lake the other night, and I was thinking that was going to be it. I could see them winning, game 4. Their backs are against the wall. Game 5, I was like, okay, they're going to go home and take care of business. No. Dallas is here. Dallas is going. Robertson's found his scoring touch again. That scares me.
Yeah, that's real scary.
Dude, I ran into a guy last night. We were like house bopping around all these different house parties. Some guys had like live bands. This guy comes up to me. He's like, hey, Army, I got to ask you. I got a future on Dallas. Do I like jump out of this thing early or do I stay in there? And I'm like, fuck. Because I'm not cheering for Dallas, I'm like, but I'm like, if you pick a future, Merles, you got to stay with your future. You got to hang in there.
Yeah, it's kind of like what RA said. Like part of it's saying you were right to prove to everybody you were right. You can show the ticket. You can tweet the ticket. I was right.
That's why I'm mostly right now. I want Vegas to win because I picked them to win. I picked them to win in 6.
Curse.
And I think everyone else was game 7, guys.
Yeah, I have it right here. I have it right here.
Let's go. Let's go.
No, you're Vegas in 6. Merle's Vegas in 6. Witt stars in 7. Biz Vegas in 7. RA stars in 7. Grinnell Vegas in 7. Keith Yandel stars in 6. He's done.
Wow.
So we were on it. We knew it was a long series, but it didn't start this way.
I'm more about what you said, Mer. I want to be right. I just want to be right. That's what I care about. I think that's what you care. It's like the compete level.
Yeah.
You got to get it right. It doesn't matter. So I told this guy last night, I said, hang in there with your future just to be nice, even though I wasn't cheering for them at all. I don't know why, but I was just like, buddy, I don't know what to tell you. But if Vegas doesn't win a night, what do we have? Is our Vegas insider coming on?
Vegas insider will be here. He's going to be here today. Oh,
there
he's
he
here
is.
Already.
Sweating over here. Sweating.
Migsy, give us your thoughts. I got to get inside the mind of the beast.
Vegas has had one 4-game losing streak all season, and it was all a bunch of road games. They lost in overtime. So I'm still holding to the idea that I think they're too good of a team to lose 4 in a row. But, I mean, we've talked about it. Ottinger, man, and Robertson, he's getting the bounces. Puck off backboards. He's on the back door. It goes right to him. He taps it in. Last game, he chipped it, and it went over the goalie and in. So, I mean, he's a goal scorer. They're going to get those. But I got faith in the boys. I think that Cassidy's going to make some corrections. He talked about they had like 27 turnovers or something last game.
Yeah, which was all-time quote.
Which is just absurd. So you'd think they would bring that out. But if you watch that last game, and I was moderately yelling at the TV, the dog barking and so on, is that they became very perimeter team. Eichel was standing on the half wall. He's going up and down. And they're just saying, like you do to RA, shoot the 3. Go ahead. We'll take our chances. So, they were keeping them on that outside. So Vegas doesn't work that way. They are the mixer team. They dominated Edmonton when they needed, when they got the puck low, cycled, got it in front of the net. So early in this series, they were doing that. But yeah, I'm stressed. I mean, we talked about it. I am not the luckiest person in terms of guy trips coming to fruition. I was all set for the Vegas when they were playing Montreal. I was ready. The whole crew was coming out. I'm like, doing a little bit of extra hydrating, maybe lose a couple LBs last minute. And that fell apart in my face. And then, obviously trying to track down the Merman as he travels the world. We've missed each other a few times.
So this is
so-
This is up 3-0. We're counting it. Like I almost booked the plane ticket. This is just crazy that we're even
Boys,
talking about this.
I had to spend my entire Memorial Day weekend rearranging hotels, flights, calling different restaurants. No restaurants open on Memorial Day weekend. Calling them to try to see if we can do a Pink Whitney party at this place. I hate the Dallas Stars right now for what they've done to us. I wanted the boys' trip in Vegas. We booked the boys' trip in Vegas, and they fucked us.
Oh God.
It's
Hey,
wild.
and you know what the weird thing is? Like this week, the weather's perfect. It's like 90 degrees. It's supposed to be over 100 now, but it's 90. It gets down to 70 during the night and in the morning. So like it's really nice to get up and move around. And then I think next week it's supposed to go up. Like the weather's supposed to get hotter out here. So you guys hopefully will be out here to be a quick triple digit days, which will be nice for Army skin. Just melting off him. But yeah, I'm positive about it. Look, they're the number one team in the West. They had the 1 seed. Aiden Hill, I thought, played well. I think he played well. I don't think that goal, that the third one, I think Pietrangelo, like, I don't know why you're putting your stick there. A wrist shot from the top of the circles. Aiden Hill's going to take that. He tips it, and it gets that bounce. So I think we all kind of thought this series would go the distance. I think 3-0 was a little bit like, but
that was crazy.
I think I hate Dallas more than my ex. All right, Chris. There's another good stat just above him, Tim Robinson, Ottinger, in 2023. I saw this too online. Games 5 through 7, he's got a 5-1 record, and there's the goalie stats. I was saying if you put me in a bubble, if I've been in a bubble for the last 2 months and I woke up and you showed me this, it's Vegas at Dallas. I got Ottinger versus Aiden Hill, and you're giving me the Stars minus 136. It's a play of the year. It would have been a play of the year if I didn't know the whole circumstances. Like, can they really lose 3 in a row? So that is really wild. To wrap up last weekend, or for me at least, I lost my play of the month. Wyatt Johnson. It was pathetic.
I've never seen him pass that much.
Skating
over the blue line and not just shooting it. I would see screaming.
Turnovers at the blue line. It started in the first period. We thought that one he tipped in and hit the D skate. He didn't get credit for it. Then he had a couple other chances. And then, of course, the next game, I don't touch it. He gets 5. He had 5, I think, in the first 2 periods. So that was a big loss.
Went to OT, Merles. Remember we were chatting?
Yeah.
You were like, we got life. He just needs a shot and rebound, a little bang in front. We got life. We got extra time. We can get this. No.
I think the worst thing of us as picks is that once we knew the Merman was going to stay up for the game, then we definitely should have said overtime, because he's not going to be able to be like, okay, I can sneak a couple hours in before Lily gets up. But nope, it just drives him right to that ragged edge. So yeah, we should have known that. So
Miggsy, I got a question for you. You mentioned Vegas just being more perimeter. Is there anything that in your head that they can do? The one thing I look at, I think right now, and rightfully so, is I think, and that leads to the mixer stuff and that leads to getting inside, is like their desperation level just has to be way, way, way more up, right? Like I think that they played a little too loose to, the turnover talk, not forcing their game on Dallas as much. They need to get back to that, rolling lines, coming in waves, like getting on the inside, like hell to play against, physical beasts. I think their desperation level hasn't been where it was early in the series.
I mean, I think that when you around the rink and what the guys are saying is they understand they don't want to come back for Game 7. Like they feel comfortable at home ice, but you want to close this out. You don't want to get to a Game 7 because then, a bad call, a chip over the boards, you get a penalty. No. Something ridiculous happens. So I think they're going to I think you're right on, Army. I think they get back to what they do best, throw pucks at the net, make Ottinger work. I think the guy Suter, is that how you pronounce it? Suter for Dallas?
Yep.
I mean, he's like a pinball. You just got to get after him. He's losing guys in the zone. So whenever he's out there, try to put a lot of pressure on him and then play the long game. Now I think what happens also, and I think we saw it in the Toronto series, you're down 3-0. It's like, whatever, let's just play for fun. We got nothing to lose. Then all of a sudden you win 2, and then you start to tighten up, like, we got a chance now. Hey, we got a chance. And then you don't play as loose. Like we saw what at Toronto, and then they went back home and they ended up losing. So I'm kind of hoping that's what happens. Florida closed it out in Toronto in Game 6.
This is their Game 7. This has to be their Game 7. That's the way you gotta treat it. That's the desperation level. And that's what I'm doing. Here's the Laura. She's coming back for another massive shots parlay. This is insane. Everybody on both teams getting 2.
There's going to be 700 shots in this game.
Yeah. It's going to hurt my head.
Awesome.
Ben trying to keep track of all that? I had trouble keeping track of Johnston's the other night.
I think that could be done, Laura. I have a feeling. I do like that.
But I mean, do we have confirmation of who actually counts the shots for the NHL? Like who's that burglar sitting up top?
That's it. I remember. You remember Tim Hall, my goalie in juniors? Yeah. He was my goalie, and he went to St. Lawrence. His dad used to do the stats up for the Islanders. So I remember I would play games there. I would try to get him to give me some extra hits and stuff. He never would. He was a man of integrity.
Well, we hate him. I
mean, we can get to the shot guy maybe when we get to Vegas. I'll go right up there. A couple $100 chips to somewhere.
Yeah,
like a documentary tracking down the shot guy in Vegas.
Yeah, right.
We'll have Tasha sneak up there and just take over the job for him.
Yeah.
Here's an odd question. So, which is harder travel for you, Merle? Is it harder to get to Vegas or is it harder to get to Dallas for you?
Yeah, they're both brutal. That's what I've been running through them, figuring out which way to do where. Go to New York first.
How do you do that? Do you have to go to New York and then New York, or how does it?
You can. What I like to do is, if I'm doing that, is the key move is you try to transfer here. So if say I went to Amsterdam, I don't have to touch my bags. I change in Amsterdam, and then I walk through a customs without bags or anything. And then I land in Vegas. I pick up my bags. If I fly from here to New York, when I land in New York, I have to go through the customs, grab my bags, go through the check-in, redo the security, then get on another flight to Vegas. So that's another little tip of the pros. I'll get to the travel tips of the pros. I have that planned for next year's game.
And you talk about a mix, and you talk about a mixer. In an international terminal, when people are trying to get from the international to the regular terminals, they just crowd that luggage area. It is chaos. You need to have sharp elbows. So
you should see those baggage claims in Russia. If you want to see something, it is the most ridiculous thing of the whole country is them on their bag, because they think people are going to steal everything from them. So they're on there and like that. They're pushing around. It's the craziest thing you'll ever see.
That's wild. I was just saying, bro, because if it's harder for you to get to Vegas, I got a real bad feeling it's going to be Dallas. Whichever one's the harder one to get to, you're going to have to do.
Yeah, that's true.
Into this. Let's keep positive vibes going. Hey, let's go.
All right.
If it goes to Dallas, I'm not even going. I'm just going to go straight to Fort Lauderdale, and I'm just going to be full. I'm going to go live at Kachuk's house.
Yeah. You and Big Wall.
Wall, move over.
Yeah. Hey, how about that elbow room T-shirt, Merle? You caught that eagle-eyed on it. That was awesome.
Unbelievable. Awesome. I don't know if did he know he was going on TNT, or was that all a setup? I don't know. I gotta get to the bottom of that.
I love how Charles Barkley called he's like Bob or Bobgy. He totally mangled Bobrovsky's name. Mangled his name. Oh, he crushed Bobrovsky.
I like that one there. I like that for the chat parlay there. That one, G.
The Soldiers parlay. This makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Point money line over. Yep. And you know what? I was going to change the vibes into good vibes. Anytime goal scorer, put me down. I think the Manitoba Maniac, this is his time. He's got to set the tone. He's got to be the leader guy. He's got to get in the inside. He's always usually on the inside. I know he's a little banged up. He's going to have his hairs going crazy. His legs will be popping around. His butt end will be flipping everywhere. Give me anytime goal scorer, Stoney. The Manitoba Maniac.
Let me look up his stats. Plus 215.
We got any stat, Merle, since you're now the stat guy? If Mark's, those ones you see, if Mark Stone scores, Vegas is 6-0 or something to that effect?
I see those after they come out every time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I should have bet that.
Yeah. They'll say it right before the broadcast, and you're like, hey, man. Where do these stats come from? But yeah, I like that. I think Stone's got to have a big game. He looked a little sluggish last game. This has been a pretty trying series, I think. But I'm going to go with the Swede. I think Carlson, I like him anytime goal. I think Carlson's going to get one tonight. I want to resort back to the original Misfits. I think they got to get back to that core. Those guys have been here they own bars in Vegas. They're all in on Vegas. So I think Carlson anytime goal, and I'm going to go Knights money line. I think they close it out.
Yeah.
I think that they sneak a few by. I could see overtime tonight. I think it's going to be close. It's going to be a close game. We talked about it. I think we talked about it maybe two ago game notes where we said it's like a race to 3. Whoever gets the 3 seems to be they're going to win.
Mhm.
So I think if Vegas can get there, and I think Carlson, that line, Riley Smith is due, Carlson, but I'm going to be interested to see where they put Jamie Benn. I mean, the guy just had 2 goals. Do you say it's a one-timer and you pull him out? Maybe he stays in. Yeah, Demontri or whatever. And then you bring Jamie Benn back in. No matter how long you play in the league, all of a sudden you're like, you might be a little nervous. Like, hey, the guys just won 2 and I've been gone. And now all of a sudden.
Yeah, I'm going to come in and mush this. We're
Yeah,
battling.
I don't know. I don't know if you put him in. I guess he's fresh. On that side of it, he's fresh too. This time of year.
They got to put him in. He's like the captain. He's got to go back in.
Yeah.
The question,
Bergeron was the captain. They put him in. How'd that end up?
You know.
I'm trying to force them to put him in just because of that.
Oh,
fact.
so we can get to Vegas and book the flights tonight.
Yeah. In case DeBoer's listening, I just want him to, maybe push him over the edge.
Big game notes guy.
We got Miggsy. I'm riding with Miggsy. I'm riding money line too. I'm Vegas money line. Stoney goal. I'm gonna stay away from the over under a little bit. If I did it, I would do over at a 5.5. I would do it, but I don't know what the stats are saying through this. 4-2 last game. That's 6. I mean,
4 + 2 is 6. Mr. Ice. Mr. Ice retired because these games went so under.
Yeah, he's out.
If you want to get to my picks while we're on it, I'm going back on Wyatt Johnson shots plus 100, 2.5. Not play of the month. And I'm doing the draw tonight. I'm staying up for the game. We're going to record the Chicklets podcast after the game. So that means it's going to be a super late night. I have a feeling the game is going to still be going on. I'm going to take my kid to school, then record the podcast. It's going to be a late one, maybe even double OT.
Ooh.
But
that's serious.
Draw plus 320 is my play.
You guys aren't live streaming the game, right? That's not tonight.
No, that was game 5. And that's why, when you're on those live streams, it's hard to really follow the game as well. So I don't remember that game as well as I did game 6. Because game 5, all I cared about was Johnson.
Well, we were also watching, trying to watch the game, but also watch Biz just move around his house like he's on a reality TV show. It's like he's on the real world. He's in the kitchen, chucking eggs down, going to the couch, laying down. The guy is just such a natural. I'm sitting there making sure the lighting's perfect and so on. But then watching you guys going, what time are you at? We don't want anybody ahead. That's just
what's so
just
different
awesome.
too, right? With the streaming and cable packages and however everyone's watching it, we're like, what are you on? Are you on this cable? Are you on that cable? Because it all comes in at different times. So we were trying to link up, and every time we get it screwed up. So producer Grinnell was pissed at us. He's
quit talking about. But then there's guys like Witt and RA that will tell you that they stopped and lined up, but they don't. I've been through this with them. They want to be ahead. They hate waiting or hate if somebody's ahead of them. So if you rewatch those clips, I don't know why you'd ever rewatch that one, but they do that. They want to be ahead on us.
Yeah. Do we have G's picks? We got all our picks in. Did you give your picks? Just doing shots and what else are you doing there?
I just did shots and draw. I'm keeping it simple for now.
Okay, yeah,
I'm not picking a winner. I'm not picking a loser just because I'm not trying to jinx anything going forward. I'm trying to just book these trips. But I will take the over. I will take the over 5.5. Anytime you see that 5.5, I like it. So I'm on the over tonight.
Gee, I like every effort you're going to. I like every effort you're going to make this happen. I know what you mean, but where
are you watching the game tonight? You staying home or are you going to be out and about?
Sitting right on my couch. Right on my couch because I got the Celtics too tonight. Big game 7. That's why I got the Red Sox hat on. Got to rep Boston tonight.
Now, we were talking about it before, but it's just ridiculous that these two leagues can't talk and be like, hey, maybe now's not a great time to put all the games at the same time so we don't have to share viewership.
At least do a staggered start. Maybe start one at 4:30. You know what I mean?
Maybe we can get –
That's wild.
Can you got the direct line to Portnoy? Maybe he can run across the floor or something and just delay that game 35 minutes.
And like this, like
Maybe
it's
that'll be
in
nice.
Boston. Like, so do Boston at 6:30 and do Vegas at 9 o'clock, or you know,
Yeah,
like
something.
there's a way to make it a little. I don't know. I
Yeah,
don't
you
know
move
that
one
stuff.
game up an hour earlier, one game an
Yeah.
hour later. It's not
And
that
it's on
big
the
of a
East
deal.
and West Coast, so it doesn't really matter. But I guess you would lose the hockey fans. But they obviously don't care about the hockey fans when they have Connor McDavid on at 10. So I don't see why we couldn't have Vegas on at 9.
Yeah.
Merle, I know you live in Europe,
mess.
but Dallas isn't considered West Coast. Just to clarify,
Is that north or south?
it's
Southern
central,
team?
right? It's central.
Yeah.
It's 2 hours ahead of us. But I
That's
don't
2
know.
hours. Is it 2 hours? That's 2 hours back, right?
Yeah.
Z back,
Fast.
McMonagle down there.
Yeah, Z and them it's 2 hours. Do you think the Dallas fans are starting to take credit? Like we threw all that trash on the ice and that motivated the team to get 2 W's? Maybe they do it tonight in warmups just to kind of make sure everybody knows.
Yeah, they were in the blender there. Hey, they were in the blender with all that shit, throwing popcorn on players, shit all over the ice, Ben suspension, like nothing was going right. And they're like that Undertaker where he pops out of the casket. He's back. Like Jesus Christ! Like we just put these guys to sleep. The Bang guys just got more dates going on at the games than ever. He's getting cocky. He's getting cocky on social. I've been seeing.
A buddy of mine who watches your guys' show pretty religiously sent me a text saying, I went to college with that guy. He was my roommate. He's a complete disaster. He's just a maniac. He was a maniac in college and he still is, still going. So, yeah, that's quite the personality.
Here it is. Simsy says Eichel needs to shoot way more. He does. He does. I think it puts him more involved in games. It has more killer instinct. It has him more, playing the kind of game that I think he's played majority of these playoffs to be like a difference maker. When he's shooting, he's like rolling. He's on it. He wants to be that guy. So watch for that today. I think that's a sign of just desperation. You get guys like that doing those kinds of things for Vegas. I think that's a big difference maker.
I think also you look at the storyline. I mean, obviously Pavelski's great and everything, but Eichel coming back from that injury, making the move, forcing his hand, making the move to Vegas, and now he's running deep. You just want him to have a big moment. Maybe a couple goals tonight or play like he did on that Edmonton game where they closed because, he came here and he got in shape and he worked his tail off. He got a very kind of what would be a controversial surgery. And now he's back and he's deep. I just really want for him as a good kid, to have a great game, obviously bring it home, continue to kind of build his reputation in town. People love him here. So I expect him to have a good game. He's a big game guy. When the lights are bright, he's a big game guy. So I think he'll have a nice one.
Yeah, he's the $10 million player. He has to step up. He has to take over like Bobrovsky has in Florida. You pay that kind of money. Kachuk, I don't know what he's making, $8-9 million. You show up in these games, unlike our friends in the North that didn't show up. But when this series was 3-0 and Florida was basically already over, I was like, I don't know which team I'm going to pick for the finals because they both seem so they're both great. But now this has me thinking maybe I'm going to be on Florida in the finals. Do you guys feel that way too? Because now Vegas has shown a chink in the armor.
Yeah. I'm on Vegas. I was on Vegas, but you're right. It is making my brain recal. I'm like, I've gone, you know what? I've gone against Florida every single series. I've gone against them every one.
Yeah,
and I love the way they play. I'm an idiot. But Vegas is definitely putting some doubt in my mind that they're not gonna that it's not gonna be like what I thought with Vegas facing Florida. I thought it would be Vegas, just rock solid, close games, of course, great hockey, but I just think they'd be too much. But
if you're going to take Vegas, if you think Vegas is win the Cup, Army, do you think you should take them now? I think they're plus 140 to win it. Obviously, Florida's the favorite, and then Dallas still has big odds. So do you take that now? Start chipping in a little bit on that now? Because if it ends up being Florida-Vegas, what are the odds really going to be? Maybe Vegas has a slight advantage. Obviously, people still playing that 8C. They got to travel. Vegas has got home ice. So maybe if you're thinking about that, you would take them now at the plus 135, plus 140, I think, on one of the score bets.
Just in the chat, too, Migsy, to your point, tonight seems like a live bet game. Merle's, what do you guys think of that? Just kind of hanging around and just staying active. I always forget to live bet.
Yeah, I get a feel for the game. And what was I going to say? I just saw in the chat somebody said start quickie. You think there's any chance of that?
Well, I mean,
played all playoffs.
I think also I got and then so I don't forget, I want to ask you guys a question. But I think also, like, that's another part of what Army's saying about desperation. I don't think you want to play desperate. So if Aiden Hill, for some reason, now you got to make that decision. You got to make the decision. Do we throw Quick in to try to close this series? Aiden Hill, they've kind of figured him out maybe if he has a tough game. So I think Vegas is going, we got to close it out tonight. We don't want to get to that. We want to get our rest in, make Florida travel out here maybe a little early. I told you they're going to probably be staying up on the west side. I think that this is the question I was going to ask. If you guys are in that locker room for Vegas or Dallas, and let's say you're Eichel or Pavelski or one of these veterans that make the big, how much money you put on the board tonight? Like, what are you putting up on the board?
I don't know if they even. You're in the playoffs, Army. I've never played in the Stanley Cup playoffs. Is there a lot of money going up still?
In the board in this situation, if I'm one of those guys, you put $5K.
Wow. All right.
I think.
Yeah, I was thinking you got to do something. Like if it goes to overtime and Merle hits them early special, like you got to think guys are walking in just going, "Here are my car keys." Like get me to the final.
Whoever scores the game winner gets my Mercedes or Lamborghini, whatever those guys are driving down there.
Oh yeah, they got some nice cars. I mean, there were 600 people at the practice.
Got the suit with the shorts jumping out of his Lambo. Like life's pretty good. Yeah. Yeah.
I hope it's Vegas because I think Vegas will put on a great show for the Stanley Cup Finals. You know, the town's kind of built for it.
Yeah.
And you know, hockey's growing here really fast, so it'd be good. It'd be good, really good for the town also.
Yeah. And if you're just a hockey fan and you get to go and you want to do this, like maybe you saved up and you're going to do the Stanley Cup Final and you're going to just go city to city, like you're going to be winning big time. And nothing is like brutal or anything. Like it'd be nice to go to Dallas too, but just the setup, what you could do while you're in Vegas overall, and then right out to the beach, you know, in Lauderdale. Like this is going to be set up. So we're praying, boys. I'm praying.
G's got his finger on the Expedia button to try to get the things done. That's his live betting all night. It's just him watching the flights like this the whole time. He's just sitting there. That's live betting for G.
Yeah, every time Vegas scores, the flights pop up dramatically in price.
Yeah. The hotel rates, all of a sudden, he just refreshes. They're an extra 100. Dallas ties it. They go down. He's got the biggest sweat of his life tonight.
Yeah, he does.
Well, that was one good thing about them extending the series for Florida, because Florida was originally going to have games Monday and Thursday, which would have been brutal, but now they're going to be Thursday, Saturday. So you can make that quick weekend trip down to Lauderdale, catch 2 games, fly home. Doesn't cost you the whole week of work. So that's one positive we'll look at for that. But speaking of live betting, about the only wins I got on the World Championships were on some good live betting. And I got my shirt right here.
There it is. Yeah. We
Congrats
did it,
to Canada. We got to touch on that tournament a little bit.
You called it, Merles. You said that this is what's going to happen. They lost that ugly game in the who'd they lose it to?
Norway. Norway. I think they lost Switzerland too, and Norway.
Like it just was looking not great. They do this hotel switch. They dial it in. The boys roll. They get Finland, I think. That's who they got. They had to get through them. And then the big upset game too. They had to play Latvia, which was crazy. How about them? Did you see that?
Yeah, it's out of control.
They got a national holiday today, so they all can go out and cheer on the team today. It was like 60,000.
Yeah,
which is great. Which is great to see. I mean, that's great to see that they got something to cheer about and the fans go out. But man, I don't know. I thought that the U.S. maybe didn't put their best roster forward in that game. Played a lot of the young guys. Maybe the other guys were on a bender. They just said, "Yeah, we'll call it in." But I would have liked them to see maybe put out their better roster. So.
Yeah, USA.
Yeah, well, the U.S. they were doing fine. They won all the regular games, and they had a lead in the semifinals. They have the wrong players on the ice. I went back and slowed it down and just watched. Like a couple of the guys shouldn't even have been on the team, let alone on the ice in the last minute. But the guy doesn't make a play at all, so they blow that game on me, and then go to the bronze medal game. The exact same act. They blow the lead, and there it is. There it is in Riga. They had a national holiday. I was talking to Shrempy Miggs. And he's over there. He lives in Latvia. So he was down at the parade. It was chaos. So they had a national holiday. Nobody has to go to work. Nobody has to go to school. And it's just a huge party. So congrats to them on their first ever bronze. Their goalie is Artur Silovs. He got MVP of the entire tournament, and he's a Vancouver Canuck prospect. So
Yeah, he's the kid who played the full year in the AHL. He had a pretty good year in the A, right?
yeah, I'm
Maybe
sure
this'll-
he did.
maybe this'll give him a-
maybe the
this'll-
Canucks should have called him up for a few games.
I know. Yeah, trade Demko, go with the younger guy from Latvia. That'd be nice.
Yeah, pretty
Yeah.
good. Well, pretty big wins, I think. Merle's like we all did fairly good, I think, in general. And the people in the chat, obviously, that was ideal, right? Like get up, couple games, bang them out in the morning, get games at night later, set those up. But USA let us down later on. Like they fell apart in USA in that tournament at the end. It's brutal. But how about that Fantilli goal?
Oh man.
And I saw you
redeem yourself.
Well, it's so funny because when we were in Tampa at Frozen Four, Merles was like all over Fantilli going first overall. Might have been the 30 beers that he drank.
He's doing it for the fans. He's doing it for the fans.
For the people. And you tweeted out though right after that goal, you're like, "Yep, there's Fantilli, number 2 on EBR's draft rankings." And I read it to my son because Cruz was with us at the game in Tampa, and Cruz is like, "Oh, he's like Merle's had him number 1. He's going crazy."
He was playing so well. I was like, this kid's awesome. I love him. Let's move him up to number 1. He looked great. And that was huge because I had needed that goal, and then we got the empty net to cover the -1.5. Everybody went home happy. I should have done the same last night in that game, but I got a little scared of Germany. This kind of feels like an upset year the way Florida's done it, what Riga did to us. I got to shout out the other guy in Germany, Paterka. Did you see him? He was unreal all tournament. He's a Sabres guy.
Buffalo guy.
So another good Sabre player, young Sabres player. We keep an eye on them. And U.S. collapse as always. They haven't won a semifinal game since 1934. It's just.
What's it going to take, Merle? What is it going to take for the U.S. to just like decide they're going to care about the hockey tournaments? Like I feel like they don't give a shit.
Yeah, they've never really cared too much about it, and then lately they've just been bringing more and more young guys. I don't but even the Canada didn't really bring any. Remember with the old days? Like now, like as soon as David left, he would have boom, he's over there. Matthews, as soon as he lost, he would have been over there.
Yeah.
I think that it's the insurance, the contracts are too much money involved now. The money is way too big to risk getting hurt over there.
I think if you're Matthews, the idea that you might be traded or whatever, you got to figure it out. I think like the July 1 deadline makes it a full no trade in his contract that Dubas handed him, which is ridiculous. So they're scrambling right now trying to figure out there, but the soap opera never stops. But I just thought, like, I love the idea of the young guys, but it'd be nice, like the USA wants to start winning medals. Like Canada does it. Like even though they probably didn't bring all their studs, they had a pretty, I thought their roster wouldn't be great, but those guys played hard, man. Like Foley being the captain, just pushing guys along. They played hard throughout, so they deserve it. It's really happy to see Lucic get the gold, and a couple of those older guys, I think, maybe get their last crack at it.
And what was like, why if Fantilli went, why didn't Connor Bedard go?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because even Carlson looked good. My original number 2 prospect, I had him number 2 all year. I moved him to 3 after seeing Fantilli live. But all those are going to be good picks. I probably should save it for a day we have Chief on. But what would it like? Would you think about moving that number 1 and you get number 2? Like move that to Anaheim. Be like we get something good, and you're going to get Fantilli now too. Like he's a player.
Well, I mean, people were
like
talking.
That, be like, hey, give me, who's
Zegras.
Give me Zegras in the number 2, and I'll give you number 1. Would you make that deal?
But do you think the NHL lets them do that, or the NHL's like, no, like you're not, no, we're not moving.
No. We set this up for
Chicago.
Chicago.
He's going to Chicago, the big market. And, he's doing all that, so I don't think that would be it. But you would get a haul for him. You would get a haul for Bedard. I think he's just going to sell tickets. Maybe Toronto trades Matthews and all those guys, and they try to get Bedard and reset it. But
yeah, what would it take for that too? You give Matthews in your first rounder for the number 1. I don't know if you do that because you're only going to get what 5-6 good years out of Matthews. You're going to get 20 out of Bedard.
If you're Chicago and you're that bad, Merles, you'd be crazy not to take him and start to build with him as your guy.
Yeah.
That's you can't just go and get these other guys. I don't know.
But what if you got you wouldn't take Zegras and Fantilli for Bedard? Something like that came, or even maybe the other big D-man, Drysdale they got too. They got some players, Anaheim. Because Fantilli he looks great, but
Where's that?
But you also got to think like what Zegras is now in his 3rd year, so his entry level's got 1 more year on it. I don't know what games he played coming out early, but so all of a sudden now you're like, well, we only got this guy really for 2 years, then we got to sign him. Zegras is going to get a big time deal, 10 probably a year if he keeps going. So I think if you're Chicago, you're going, no, let's get Bedard on his entry level.
Yep.
Give him a bunch of years and build this team around him as our salary cap can stay down. Matthews is going to get a monster, so you don't necessarily want to maybe just bring in a $10 million guy. Like, we're going to be tough. We'll get guys around him and then let him grow into the team. But yeah, that'd be fun. It'd be nice to see some trades and things like that to kind of spice it up a little bit.
Yeah, a little action for us. But other action, too, in game notes fashion. AHL's going on. I got a little pick in the AHL tonight.
Whoa.
Rochester Americans, they're down 2-1 to the old Hershey Bears. But Rochester's at home. They lost the first home game. I see them winning tonight. They're going to make it 2-2. I got Rochester Amherst plus 100 on the money line. My old friend Seth Appert's the head coach there.
Happy. Roch Vegas.
Yep. And Army, I want you to, have you been following the Memorial Cup at all?
Yeah, I was just following. I saw that Kamloops won their first game. They spanked Peterborough the other night, 10-.
Last night. I think they lost their first game or something.
They lost their first game to Quebec. They got kind of spanked. They looked a little rusty.
That's crazy.
Yeah, they looked a little rusty. I'm not going to lie in that game. I think
okay.
8-3 opening game of the tournament. Tonight, though, is Seattle and Quebec, which are probably 2 of the better teams. So keep an eye on that tonight. I see what times it start at here.
3.
Probably 5. It'll probably be 5.
It'll
probably be 5 o'clock. Just put everything at 5, so we have to have 9 TVs going for all these games.
Yeah, it's an hour after the Vegas game starts. 3 a.m. here.
Yeah. Oh, way.
Hey, Army, as a guy who doesn't really follow it, can you give me like maybe 1 or 2 names on the game tonight to keep an eye on, like some of the players, maybe some studs to keep an eye on?
That Robidaw kid is on Quebec, and I know he's pretty good. They had a kid, I think he got a hat trick in the first game. I forget his name, but they've got some good prospects in Quebec. Yeah. Seattle's a team though, like out of the West, that is loaded up pretty good too. And just in watching the opening night game as well, that Zellweger for Kamloops, they made a huge trade to get him and have him come in there. Who's he with? Is he an Anaheim guy too? Like this kid can buzz. This kid's a little defenseman. He's all over the ice, like just labeling shots everywhere, dishing. Like he just passes it different than most kids. But I think I'm interested to see this game tonight. Just Quebec, Patty Waugh's team. Mm-hmm. They've got some good prospects on their team, but they play like a really good structured game against Seattle, who has how many first round picks do they have on their team? They're just like
7 or 6 or 7, he said.
7 or something like that.
Yeah, it's wild.
Well, they're I think looking at it, tonight's game will be like a good measure. The only thing that's big, and I look at, and this is a weird thing of the tournament, Quebec hasn't played since opening night once they started, so they've had like 4 days off to go again. So that's like a little bit weird. And Kamloops coming into the tournament had I think 18 days off because they lost out. To move on to the final. So they had all these extra weeks off leading up to the Memorial Cup. So I think it'll be good. If I had to predict anything, I'd probably say Seattle, Quebec final eventually when it's all said and done. I wouldn't mind Kamloops sneak in there though, just to have the hometown electric factory in the Kamloops. It was really cool watching those games there because I played in that rink when I was in junior. And it's got like this balcony, and it's funny seeing on TV. When I was playing, I was like, whoa, this looks so cool. It looks so much different than like I remember in my own head seeing it these years later. But it's a great junior city, a great like cool ass rink. They got a lot of history there, obviously winning a bunch of Memorial Cups in a row back in the day. Darcy Tucker, I think, what did they win, like 4 in a row? I think at one point.
Oh, wow.
4 in a row, Kamloops did. So yeah, just a good host city for sure. But tonight's games, I'm curious to see what Seattle can do against this Quebec team. I was actually messaging this a kid off their team on Instagram the other day. He got us tickets when I was at the Quebec tournament.
Yeah.
Thomas,
all right.
He's from Fredericton, and he got us tickets. He wasn't playing in the game, so he was scratched. But I'm like, hey, you guys got to quit beating up on my Western guys. He goes, we're trying to win a member, bud.
Junior talk.
Oh,
Yeah,
man.
But,
Cam Thompson.
on the other side of your country, there was another big game last night. I was getting some texts and pictures from Connor, our Chicklets Cup Big Deal Select guy. He was with Terry Ryan. They're at the Newfoundland, is it Florida Everblades? Florida Everblades,
yeah,
East
Everblades.
Coast League. That was game 5. Florida beat them to go up 3-2 in that series out in the Far East. Is that what you call it? Would you call that the Far East of Canada?
No. That's like
Out east.
China.
Out east.
That's just the East.
Far
All right, I
East
got
is
a jet.
Haveras.
Merle,
All
you
right,
going to put
yeah,
out that menu thing again? Can you change it up a little bit? Because last time it didn't really pan out.
Yeah,
I think we
the
went-
graphic menu is not good. The
I think we
graphic,
went
that was
over-
fish.
went over.
Fishy worked hard on that for us. Made a great
fish,
menu.
mushed it. So, but I got to bounce. You guys have a good one, all right?
Yeah, we're going to wrap up
boys.
soon. Thanks,
I gotta get running too. Remember I told you about that soccer team they formed here? Alex Steen making his premiere tonight.
No way.
Yeah, Stanley Cup champion. He's going. I went and watched the game the other night. These guys, I thought about playing. Remember I said I was going to play?
Yeah.
They go way too hard. These guys are still slide tackling each other. Like 4 guys came up limp, like had to leave the game with injuries. So it's not for me. It's not like beer league soccer. It's real legit stuff. So Alex Steen's going to play tonight. It's going to be pretty interesting.
That's amazing. You got to keep track of them for us, like what goes on. Good thing your hip was sore. You didn't get to play.
Yeah, I would have fell for it. I would have, oh yeah, let's go. And I would have thrown in and bounced around.
Oh, now see, look at that. We're already swinging things around, getting more crafty, keeping positive vibes. Turn the hip injury into a positive. You don't have to get out there and get all dinged up playing hard soccer.
And that's what I'm trying to turn in this Dallas winning these games into a positive. Now we get better weekend down in Florida. We got a bonus game notes daily we hadn't planned on. So positive thinking here.
Yeah, and we might have in Singsy great point. He brings up soccer hardos. He brings up we might have to get into some game notes action, a little bit of soccer etiquette stuff too. If you can pick up on that for us, really, change the pod a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I was thinking though. Like if I play beer league hockey, I'm good enough on my skates. I know the game well enough. I know which areas to avoid so you don't get injured. Soccer, I don't know the game well enough. I would go stand there and get dummied, and it wouldn't be good.
There you go.
Shot round robin. Wyatt Johnson 2.5. Rope Bay 2.5. Stoner only 2. He only needs 2. Carlson 2. Ooh, I like that one.
That's a good one.
I like that one too. Andy Farnham.
Andy Farnham. Thank you, Andy. Well, that's good. That's good for us today, Murr. Great job.
Good one.
Good job. ScoreBet, thank you, presenting sponsor, of course, and thank you to Migsy for popping in our Vegas insider. Fingers are crossed. We're trying not to jinx anything. We're trying not to mush anybody. We're staying on this well. Thank you to everyone in the chat for joining us. Merles, have fun at soccer tonight.
Yes.
Enjoy that.
Happy Memorial Day. First
Happy
one,
Memorial.
Army, as a true American. Enjoy it. Drink some beer, eat some hot dogs for me. I'm not over there, so enjoy it for me. Double.
I'm doing it for you, buddy. Thanks, everybody. Yep. Happy Memorial Day. Enjoy.